and welcome to Data Center Nation. Today I'm joined by Wojciech Stramski. Wojciech is CEO of Beyond.pl, a Poznan-based data center and cloud services provider. Welcome, Wojciech.
Thank you for having me.
Wojciech, Beyond.pl is 100% RER powered, renewable energy resource powered. How have you achieved this?
So ever since we embarked on the journey in Beyond, we have always focused on implementing sustainable solutions into the infrastructure. When we started the construction 8-9 years ago, you can imagine sustainability was not a hot topic on the agenda, especially on the Polish market, which is not known for being a renewable-based economy. However, we decided to invest in the infrastructure. What we've done in terms of the infrastructure itself, build out multiple solutions that are actually functioning simultaneously. So we have the traditional cooling models, but we've deployed adiabatic cooling. We have implemented AI-based algorithms that actually automatically measure the temperature outside, inside, the humidity outside, inside, and switch to the most optimal solution to run at that specific time from an energy consumption perspective. On top of that, we've implemented heat recovery, which is actually helping us heat a shopping center, which is adjacent to the data center in one of our facilities. And then for the large data center on the campus, we recover the heat to heat the office facility, the logistics facility, and we are working on additional initiatives to heat and recycle the heat into the city grid, into the district heating system. From this technology, we've managed to bring the PUE of the data center to a level of 1.2, which when you look at the geographic longitude, latitude, it's a quite unique feature in this part of the world. In terms of renewable energy, yes, we are 100% powered by renewables. We source our power from Polenergia, which is one of the largest onshore, offshore, fully integrated energy companies operating here in Poland. And we have a long-term PPA with Polenergia, and 100% of the energy is delivered from their multiple farms, not only the wind farms, but also solar farms.
Fantastic. So let's looking at the markets that you serve. When you speak with big cloud companies and SaaS and content providers, what's the first thing they ask you about your data centers?
The first thing they look at is actually the rated for certification. When we launched the data center, we were the first data center in continental Europe to have the ANSI TO 942 rated for certification, which is one of the highest standards you can get in the industry. It allows us to guarantee, and not only on a piece of paper, but actually physically backed by the infrastructure, the highest levels of availability to our customers. And this is the first thing they look at. Then going down the line, number two is actually the energy consumption, especially today when you look at the macro situation with the Russia aggression in Ukraine, the uncertainties around pricing and even availability of energy. This is the second thing they focus on. And what's encouraging in the last few years, we've seen more and more, not only the big multinationals, but the medium and small businesses looking more into sustainable solutions and trying to understand what elements do data centers provide in the market that ensure that their IT infrastructure, whether it's deployed in a cloud or a co-location model, helps them meet their sustainability standards that they've defined for themselves. And then last but not least, obviously Poznan is not a world-known site, so the connectivity element always comes up in the discussion. We are very well positioned to serve the high need customers. Latency, the Poznan is 4 milliseconds round trip to Warsaw, 4 milliseconds round trip to Berlin, 7 milliseconds round trip to Prague, and most importantly, 11 milliseconds to Frankfurt. And this makes us very well positioned to actually serve a very large mass of end users and eyeballs in the market.
You mentioned a range of factors there. Traditionally, data centers were built for uptime, reliability, and criticality. Now, a lot of talk is about sustainability. So, how does Beyond define sustainability for its data centers?
So, when we started 10 years ago, that's where the focus was actually on energy consumption. On the other side, if you want to minimize energy consumption, you also cannot forget about the water consumption. And we manage both of these KPIs very, very critically. We've gone a step further, as have many in the industry, in terms of defining the supplier and vendor ecosystem that we work with to make sure that we have like-minded partners who support us and our end customers in terms of their approach to sustainability. Obviously, we go into recycling of IT equipment, which is obviously a very important element. And then this year, we've actually signed up to the Sustainable Development Goals as a company that have been announced by the United Nations in 2015. And we've signed up to all 17 of these United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So not only are we focusing on what we can do internally, which is close to us as Beyond, working around energy and water and recycling, but we're going further. We're looking at the elimination of poverty, making sure we support initiatives that eliminate hunger, that we eliminate quite a nagging issue in the general IT space in terms of making sure we have, gender equality in the workforce. And we have set out very specific action plans with every single employee in the organization. It was a bottom-up project that led us to define specific initiatives that we do to address each one of the 17 SDGs.
The year 2030 is a target year in so many ways for ecologically, economically, on a range of ways. What will Beyond.pl look like in 2030?
We hope to be not the only data center that is really progressing and trying to move the borders in terms of what you can do around sustainability on the local market, especially. But if you look at more globally, we're working together with the European Green Data Center Coalition, with the Climate Neutral Data Center Pact, and colleagues in the industry to ensure that transparency is brought into this industry, that end customers can actually take informed decisions in terms of the cloud or co-location providers that they are choosing and understand the carbon footprint of that decision. Just like when you go and buy a car, you understand its emissions. Just like when you go buy a refrigerator in a store, you see the rating and the energy efficiency applied to that. We are trying to bring the same to the industry, and we will continue to roll out additional initiatives to make sure that we're not at a 1.2 PUE level internally as Beyond, but our shareholders have actually tasked us to go below 1.0. So this is the target that we have for 2030. And I hope that when we do have a chance to speak then, I will be able to share the story of how we got there.
Wonderful. Wojciech, thank you for talking to Data Center Nation.
Thank you very much.